Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you doing out there? My name is Tiberious, and today we are going to talk about pistol malfunctions. Let's go. So last week I made a video all about dry fire, and one of the suggestions I had was you can practice clearing malfunctions in your pistol if you get some dummy rounds. Just some of these inert dummy rounds. They don't actually fire anything. They're plastic tips. You can get them on Amazon or probably your local gun store. As always, I'll put links down in the description. But grab some of them, practice clearing malfunctions. And I received several messages, private messages, about how do you clear malfunctions, how do you set it up, how do you do that, and I didn't really go into that in that video. So we're going to go into for the most part, 3 different types of malfunctions, how to clear them, how to set them up, and give you guys a little bit of information on that. First one is going to be a failure to fire. So what that means is you present the gun, you pull the trigger, and you get a click instead of a bang. I'm just going to load up some of these dummy rounds real quick so we can actually show you how to do it. A failure to fire can be caused several different reasons. It could be bad ammunition in the gun. Could be we didn't seat the magazine properly, which is probably what happened. It could be the gun itself malfunctioned somehow or is broken. That one's a lot less likely, but it is possible. So I'll load the round in, put a round in the chamber, and we're going to come out and go click. No pew-pews, just clicks. So the way you fix it, again, you tap the bottom of the magazine to make sure that magazine is seated correctly. Just give it one good tap. Then whack the slide to get that bad round out of there, if that's the case, and or load a good round in. And then you go back to work, and hopefully that time you get a bang. The second type of malfunction is going to be a stovepipe. A stovepipe is pretty much when the empty round doesn't fully eject from the firearm and it gets caught in the ejection port somewhere. Let me see if I can pull this slide back and show you. There we go. Much easier to set up when you have some sort of optic on the gun. As I say that, and I can't get it to this day. There we go. So it's going to look something like this. Obviously, it's going to be a spent shell case, an empty shell casing. It's not going to be a dummy round. You're not going to have the actual bullet up there, or the orange tip in this case. But I don't have any empty shell casing, so we're going to use this. Several different ways to clear these. Practice both. See which one works for you. See which one you like. I was originally taught you come out and you see that stovepipe to knife hand it. You get your knife hand and you karate chop the bullet. You can very easily cut yourself on a round doing it that way. And then when you knife chop, is there a round in the chamber? Yes or no? Did the gun load? You don't know. So you kind of have to knife chop and either hope and possibly die, or knife chop, rack the slide to make sure there's a round in the chamber, and then go back to work. So the way it looks is you see the stovepipe, you knife chop it, you rack the slide, and then you go back to work. It's not my favorite method. I was taught that way. It does work. Let me put the round back in here. What I prefer is you come out and you see that stovepipe. I like to do just tap, rack, bang again. It may be a little bit slower than the quick knife hand, but if there is any other issues, like the magazine wasn't seated correctly and that's why you got the stovepipe or whatever scenario, it's going to guarantee the gun is up and running for the most part, unless the gun is defective, something's wrong with it. But it's going to fix any problems that may be going on with the gun. So you see the stovepipe, tap that magazine again, wrap the slide to get that bad round out, good round in, and then pew, 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 pew. Third, and certainly not least, is going to be a double feed. Double feeds are dangerous because they take the most time to clear. And sometimes I've seen really bad double feeds where the round gets stuck, the empty shell there gets lodged in the chamber and you can't get it out. So double feeds can be very, very bad. The way we set up double feeds is we're going to put one round in the chamber. Now if you're doing this live on the range, you want to get an empty shell casing, I suggest, and put an empty shell casing in there. And then in the magazine we have some rounds. We're going to put those rounds, that magazine in, and then we're going to send the slide forward. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but there is one round in the chamber, and the second round pushing on it. Not a true double feed. True double feeds will happen with more force and be a little bit harder to clear, but it is very, very close. So the way I was originally taught to clear these is you come off.
Oh crap, I have a double feed.
The first thing you need to do is lock the slide to the rear, then strip your magazine, your round goes flying out. Then I was taught while you're holding the magazine, whack a whole bunch, put the magazine back in, load around in the chamber, and you're probably dead because you just took 10 minutes to get your gun back up and running. So someone taught me, I don't remember who, there's a way to do it much, much faster. So again, we're going to put one round in the chamber, put the magazine in, set up the double feed again. Now you see it, there you go. So you come out, you have a dead mushy trigger, by the way.
Oh crap, I have a double feed.
At this point, with 90% of the guns out there, you don't need to lock the slide to the rear. I'm just going to strip the magazine, and I save myself the step of locking the slide to the rear. Now at this point, you have two different choices. You could just put the magazine back in, rack the slide, and go to work. Save yourself a half of a second, but you take a chance on if that round's not out or if it's a little jammed, you could cause another malfunction. So what I like to do is I'll hold the magazine in my hand, rack the slide once just to make sure that round gets out, put the magazine in, load it, and then pew, 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 pew. Again, all of these need to be practiced so you can figure out which one works for you and your gun, and see if you're strong enough to rip the magazine out. If you are going to do them at home, don't do them with live rounds. Get some of these dummy rounds from Amazon or wherever and practice them. It's good to practice at home, but obviously none of that is a substitute for quality training, quality instructors. So as often as you can, get to the range with an instructor. Most basic pistol courses will have some time spent on malfunctions where you can practice this in front of an instructor. But go to the range, try them out, see which one works for you, so you're prepared if anyone does happen. Malfunctions are not very common unless you shoot a 1911. Kidding. I love 1911s, but and modern guns, good quality ammo that's decently maintained, lubed up. Malfunctions are not very, very common. However, if it does happen and you're not prepared to deal with it, it could be deadly. So that's why I suggest you guys go to the range and practice these. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching my review. It is truly, truly appreciated. If you think I deserve it, go ahead and click that like button. While you're at it, go ahead and click subscribe. This way you get notified when we come out with new videos. I'll see you all next time. Peace.